The Oklahoma City Thunder have now lost three out of their last four games. This is certainly something that we are not accustomed to seeing from this Thunder team, especially here in the last few years. Now, basketball, the game that I love, the game that I still play every other Friday with really good friends of mine, is a game of rhythm, a game of momentum, a game of energy. And with all the injuries that the Thunder have had here recently, it's really hard to have, a lot of momentum, rhythm, energy that ultimately creates confidence for a team. It creates all of those things create confidence for individual players and for the team as well. Um, so today, I want to talk about the four reasons why I think the Thunder have been losing. Ultimately, the big thing is that we are a severely injured team, um, but we are getting healthier. And so I just want to talk about the areas in which we need to improve on so that we start winning some games and winning games in a row. Hello, my name is Nathan. This is Thunder Up Talk. And, if you like these videos, please subscribe. I would appreciate it so much. So the number one thing that I want to talk about today, the number one reason why I think we are kind of losing basketball games is because of lack of play creation. So um, Shea is by far our number one creator of plays, play creator. He can do whatever he wants on the offensive side of the ball. He can do whatever he wants whenever he wants. He can get to the rim. He can shoot that mid-range jumper that he is elite at. He can do the step back three. Of course, he gets fouled into the free throw line. He can create, he can pass out to his teammates. He can do it all. Unfortunately, with these injuries, we have not had a lot of guys who can create for others. We have play finishers, but not play creators. Um, Isaiah Joe, he's a catch and shoot guy. You have to pass him the ball to be able to shoot it. Kaysen, he doesn't really create for himself. He's sneaky athletic, and if he's in the open court, in transition, he can dunk on some people, but he's really not just a go-to play creator. Lou Dort, certainly, when he's dribbling to the rim, that's not the best version of himself, settling for mid-range shots, which he's kind of been hitting some of them, but again, not ideal for the team. I wouldn't classify him as a play creator. Wiggins, he can kind of go into that spin move of his and create some shots, but that's not something that he can just consistently do. And even Chet. So he has gotten better with this. He's tightened his handle. When he was a rookie, it felt like every time he went into that little spin move of his, he would get ripped every time. I don't know if that's true, but it really felt like that. I know he's definitely tightened his handle. Um, he's starting to take advantage of guys that are smaller than him, and really calling for the ball. But he really, I feel like he's got to develop a go-to move. He's got to be able to do a 1-2 dribble hard one way or the other and um, just create a shot. And I think he's got to kind of do that uh, in the mid range. So again, he is not a play creator. He's a great play finisher. He's great off of, catching the ball for lobs. He's really good at catch and shoot threes as well. Um, but again, at this point, he is not what I would consider a play creator. Um, the two guys that do add pressure to the rim, with the dribble penetration, are obviously Jalen Williams, our second best player. So um, he is really, really, really good at finishing with both hands, getting to the bucket, um, or even just getting to his spots. He loves going left to that little mid-range shot where he's kind of fading a little bit. And he's also improved creating plays for others, especially this year. So that has been something that we've seen a little bit, but he's also missed half the season. So we haven't seen it consistently. And then, of course, AJ Mitchell. So he has been a guy that no one has expected to be this good. But he's definitely in my opinion, the third best penetrator, getting pressure to the rim. Um, and in fact, he may be more relentless than J-Dub as far as dribbling to the rim, trying to finish, getting layups or the swooping layups that are high off the backboard that he's really, really good at. Um, so I just think when they're the two of our top three guys who help Shea at adding pressure, um, who are not playing, it really affects the team. And it affects the team other than just getting those buckets. So, for instance, Shea is getting doubled and triple teamed, it feels like. Uh, Man, once he comes off a screen, he is getting blitzed like crazy. He has no other option than to pass out to somebody. And that's fine. But when you have guys who can help Shea attack closeouts, so that's something that, I see it so much. Shea will come off of a screen, he'll pass it to Lou Dort or Isaiah Joe or Jalen Williams from Arkansas, and they may pump fake, and then it's too late, and then they decide to dribble, and somebody is already um, they've somebody on defense is already made up and closed out on them. So versus if that was Jalen Williams, they would attack the closeout, probably get to the rim, or same with AJ Mitchell. So again, to me, that is the number one reason why we are not winning games. And having one and especially both of them back will affect this team tremendously in a major positive way. The number two reason why I think we're losing games is that we are lacking in turnover creation, at least to the eye test. And I honestly don't know the numbers, but just watching these games, it feels like we're not creating turnovers at the rate that when we're really clicking on all cylinders, that we're capable of doing. We're definitely nowhere near the ceiling of that. And to be very honest with you, we do not have a great offense. We are a great team. We're a great defensive team. We are a average to probably maybe above average team, offensive team. And, a large part of that is due to Shea being one of the best basketball players of all time. Um, but we rely heavily, and maybe to a detriment, like maybe a little too much, but we really rely on creating turnovers and getting easy buckets, getting layups, getting dunks, a transition game. And so when we're missing guys like Caruso and Jalen Williams, who are excellent at creating uh, those turnovers, and then especially J-Dub able to finish in transition, it just really hurts the team when we're not doing that as well. Even if we create a turnover and the defense gets back, and say we don't get a layup or a dunk, it's still, we still get easier shots. Guys like Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins who are running down the court too. If they get an open three, that's still a great shot. And in the NBA, for guys like them who are role players, getting an extra half second or a second to shoot the ball because the defense is still kind of scrambling makes all the difference in the world. And especially for a team that, we are not a great 3-point shooting team. Those types of looks are high quality looks that make a big difference um, for our team. And even if we're just missing, three or four of those mean anywhere from 7 to 9 points on any given night. And that really, really matters. Um, the third reason why I think we're struggling is because of a lack of physicality. So Caruso and J-Dub are great on the perimeter defensively, and they have been out a ton of games here recently. We do have uh, Cason Wallace and we have Lou Dort, but when we have like 4 or 5 guys that we can just send out there um, and really be physical on the perimeter defensively, I think that's something that we miss dramatically. And for the first time watching that T-Wolves game, it felt like we were on our heels, like they were the aggressor. And that was really weird to watch because that's kind of like what we do. That's our calling card. That's what we're known for. That's what a lot of NBA coaches complain about and cry about. Um, is our physicality. And then, with iHeart being out, we really miss his physicality with the screen setting. Really make those guys feel it when you set a screen over and over and over. That makes a difference. The interior defense. Chet is a sensational rim protector, but having another guy that can just make you think about it when you're going to the rim. He's either going to block you or make you feel it. That really makes a difference as well, with the interior defense. And then, of course, the rebounding, which is so critical for this team because we're not exactly the best rebounding team either. And having iHeart out definitely affects that. Now, he did play last night. It was his first game back, and he looked super rusty. But over the course of hopefully the rest of the season and going into the playoffs, um, having more physicality is going to be a big, big thing for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. And then just the last thing that I want to talk about, we're these intangibles that are kind of hard to put your finger on are missing as well. So, and I've really thought about this. When I think about intangibles with guys who have been sitting out, I think of um, Caruso to start with. I talk about how he creates so much havoc, especially at home. Um, he will get on the floor and die for a loose ball, or it just will be really active with his hands, cause deflections, and it just gets the Thunder crowd hyped there at Paycom, and I think that's a big deal. Coming back to momentum and rhythm and energy, all of those things play into what Caruso brings to the team on the court. Also, his on court leadership. I love how you get a split second of the guys walking to the bench before they cut to commercial. And a lot of times you see Caruso talking to a guy. I think that is extremely important and isn't talked about nearly enough. There's a reason why Alex Caruso is like the plus minus king of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'm sure there are things to my eye that I'm not even catching, like where he's at on the court, maybe telling guys where to go on the court. Um, Another example is just seeing in the finals, watching Caruso uh, kind of be more aggressive offensively when we really needed it, when we got super stagnant offensively. All of those things, stack and stack and stack and stack, and I think are super important. Also, J Dub, the energy that he brings, I think it's super important when you have a guy that when we've gone on a 10-1 run, and we are now up 15 going into the fourth quarter, and J Dub's, hyping the crowd up, is really, really important. So, uh, I can't stress that enough. Basketball is a game of energy and it creates confidence. Um, I just know that anecdotally for me, if I hit two threes in a row, I'm running back on defense a lot easier. I'm not winded or tired. It's crazy how you forget about those kind of things. And that's just on an offensive, side of things. The same can be said defensively. Um, and I'm just a big believer in, what momentum and rhythm means for an individual and especially for a team. And that is from quarter to quarter, within a game, and, within, several games at a time. You can keep momentum within several games at a time. And it just affects your season. So, and unfortunately, we are lagging in momentum and energy a lot of the times. And I don't think we'll get there until we get rhythm. And we're not going to have rhythm until, uh, AJ Mitchell, Jalen Williams, Alex Caruso all come back. iHeart, gets back into playing shape. Like all these guys are going to have to get back into shape and learn how to fit together again. And I think once that happens, um, once they all return, I think the rhythm, the momentum, and the energy will follow for sure. So I'm not panicking. I think we still have a great team. I still think we have the best team in the NBA. I do think that if Jalen Williams doesn't get back to at least 90% of what of the best version of himself, I think we're in trouble. And I will be the first to admit it. And so I'm just hoping over the next 30 or so games going into the playoffs, we get back to our old Thunder team that is fun and exciting and yeah, I can't wait to see how that turns out. So that's all I've got for today. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you later. Thunder up.